At this time, we call to order at 5:48 the public hearing on our budget and tax rate. Dr. Ball?
Yes, we're gonna go ahead and start with Scott. Scott always has a great presentation for us. And you do have it before you, this information. So I'd like to commend, while we're setting this up, commend Scott and Brandon. Both of them have worked diligently on this information that they have, to prepare. They prepared for you with your information from our general fund, child nutrition, and of course, debt services. So Scott, whenever you're ready.
All right. Well, good evening, members of the board, Dr. Ball. Tonight we have our public hearing on the proposed budget and tax rate. And this is a hearing that is open to the public comment at the end of the presentation. So here we go. All right, items tonight that we'll be proposing for adoption will be the general fund budget, the child nutrition budget, and the debt service budget, as well as our proposed tax rate. So, all right. These are the rules that say we need to adopt our budget prior to August 31st. So we've got a few days, so we're in good shape. All right. All right, so tonight we have before you the general fund proposed budget. These are the same numbers we saw last week with the $162 million estimated revenue, with our personnel costs $143 million, and our non-personnel costs around a little over $32 million, for a total expense of $175 million. So we are proposing a deficit of almost $13 million. So, any questions on that one? All right. This is a breakdown of our revenue by state, local, and federal. You can see our state revenue has increased a little bit over last year due to the changing of the law, where more state funds will be heading our way. A little less federal funds this year, as the federal revenue of SHARS has kind of taken a turn to the wrong direction for us. So we will not be getting as much as we'd like. So expenses, you can see here by our expense that 83% of our expenses are personnel from the total $175 million. So as you know, we are in the people business, so most of our costs are in the people. All right, here's the breakdown by function. Tonight you're approving the budget by the fund and function. As you can see, instruction still remains our largest category. This is the budget presented by object, same numbers, just a little different view. As you can see, the payroll is 83%, and those are our other categories right there. All right. Any questions so far? All right. Next, we have our campus budget. This is our campus budget including payroll, divided by the number of projected enrollment students we have. Kind of gives you a cost per student that includes our payroll, so you can kind of see how much we're spending per campus. And you take the same enrollment, and this is our budget without payroll. So you can see that we have a more inline structure with our non-payroll funds, and these are the funds that the campus can use towards the items they need, school supplies and copy machines, that kind of thing. So, all right, any questions so far? All right. Next slide is our non-campus general fund budgets. Here you've got the first of many slides of various departments within our district. This includes payroll, but of course not every item is paid out of the department they work for. So as you can see, like for example, the hearing office has $4,700 as their budget, but that actually is for their copy machine. The rest of their funds come from other categories. So that's just an example. So, all right. Any questions so far? All right. Am I doing on time? Doing good. All right.
Take your time, Scott.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got our non-campus general fund budgets continuing here. We've got our technology distribution center, the business and finance side. Any questions on these budgets?
I have a question,
Yes.
but I don't know if you can answer it yet, but so we're basing our revenue on what student count?
you go back to, on the fourth slide, general fund proposed budget, we based it, go ahead,
Yep.
Scott.
Oh, 14,702?
Yep.
Yes.
1472.
And what are we right now?
14,663.
Okay.
On projected enrollment, is that what's the question you were asking? I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I was asking that, but,
So as we built the budget, we used that number for staffing. So most of that goes on campuses, so that gives us an idea of how much we need to add per campus. So we took each campus with our demographic study, did a projection of student enrollment that we anticipate for this year, and we built staff. So that's how we staff the campus. And then we take those same numbers and we use that to build a local budget for the campus so they can have enough money to buy copy paper, paper towels. And then we turn that over to the federal funds department, and they help build out their title budgets and their allotments that they receive per their child, per
Okay.
child. So that's how we build those budgets.
so our average daily attendance is 13,
56, that's what we're
56.
projecting our revenue off of.
that's what I'm asking.
Correct. So the 14.7 is what we built staff and budgets off of, because those kids are here and we have to staff and give them money. But we're using that 13.56 as our revenue, because that's about like 92% of 14.7. So we're trying to project, we have this enrollment, but we're only gonna get funded on 13,000 kids if they show up every day in our attendance.
And then when we adopted the budget for this last year, what was our ADA? Do you remember what number
I
you
think it was
used?
around 12.5.
12.5?
And so that, this year, we actually exceeded that, so our revenue is gonna be better going in, because remember, the previous year, we were around 12.3, but our ADA was like 11 something, and that's where we had the shortfall previous year that impacted this year on the revenue.
So we need to hit an ADA of 14,702 to be accurate?
That would mean that we had 100% kids show up every day.
No, I know they're
Yeah.
not gonna come, but,
To get this revenue, if we want that $106 million on the next page, so that's our state revenue. That number is based off ADA and some other formulas based on special populations. But we're saying if we meet 1356, we're projecting that we'll receive that 106 million.
okay.
If that falls below, let's say it's 12.5, that 106 goes down dramatically, and that's where we see. So we wanna meet this is our projection, but we
Okay.
wanna exceed that. The further we go higher, the more it adds to that bucket right there, that 106, and that's what we want, because that helps decrease that deficit on the revenue side.
Right. What does it do to us if we raise our ADA by 1%?
About $1.2 million. And it's probably a little bit more now because we're larger, so we probably need to run that calculation. It's probably closer to $1.4 million because of the size of because we're keep growing.
Okay, thank you.
Right, can I get that?
You're good. All right. All right. Additionally, we are approving the child nutrition and the debt service budget. So on the left, we have the child nutrition budget, and we are looking at a revenue around 15 million. And this year, we're going to spend a little bit into the fund balance in order to spend down the fund balance a tad. So we're looking at 17 million in expenditures. Any questions on the child nutrition budget? And our debt service budget, we've got our revenue projected to be 33.4 million. That'll include our bond payment that we have in February and then in August, as well as a possible defeasance opportunity for us. We'll hear more about that later on tonight. Any questions?
On the debt service side, we're actually going to receive more revenue on our debt pennies, and so we need to do defeasance, and we're gonna explain that in the regular session meeting, just so we can help pay down some debt. So when we borrow the extra 50 million that we still have, that we have some room to do that, or possible bond in the future if we need to.
All right. This is the slide that has all three budgets presented as one as one, and we are going to be posting this on the website later on tonight, and this is the slide that you all will be approving at tonight's board meeting. All right.
Go back to that slide, Scott,
Sure.
real quick. So for the board, when, every month we bring a board amendment, when we make changes. So as y'all approve each one of these functions, so function 11 there, instruction, it says we're going to approve tonight, the board, we're gonna recommend to y'all to approve a function 11 of 98,446,886. That can't change unless we come back to y'all. So we can't change that number, make it higher or lower. So let's say we want to move money from function 12 to function 11. That's where those board amendments come every month. Because sometimes when we set our budget right now, we give the money to the campuses and they make decisions where they want to add more money to PD or they want to add more money to supplies. So that's where the board amendments come in. So y'all are approving this, and this is what's required by y'all. And then every month, if we make any changes, we bring this back to y'all and say, we're going to be moving money from this function to this function. We're not allowed to do that as a district without y'all's approval. So that's the part y'all are approving. Y'all are doing that for the general fund and child nutrition and the debt service. Anytime that we decide, or we recommend to the board that we want to use fund balance for an item, same scenario, we can't just go get fund balance and add to function 51 or 81. We have to bring that as an action item and get approval from you. So I just wanted to make sure y'all knew that process, why y'all have to approve it by function, and then every month y'all get a board amendment, and then we bring action items to change this. Just wanted to be clear on that piece.
I just speaking for myself, I would like a better, idea of our fund balance. Cause I know there's some things that, like last year, we were hit with all of the rising utility costs and the
Correct.
fuel costs. So I mean, it's not like you can say, no, we're not gonna approve that because our kids have to get to school on the bus.
Yes.
But I think a better understanding of how hard our fund balance is getting hit.
Okay.
So maybe instead of just saying, oh, we're gonna take out this much, maybe, you know how they have those graphs where, like when you're doing a building fund and you keep going up, then maybe we see ours, you know, just a more visual idea of how our fund balance is being hit, because the way we're ending the fiscal year that we're in right now is like a big eye-opener of
Correct.
how much we had to take out of fund balance. And then we'll be able to better understand the things that are discretionary coming out of fund balance that we would say, we would be at least informed enough to say no.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If it's not something that is absolutely necessary, so we can be a little bit more, I don't know how y'all feel about that, but, I mean, there's some things I don't think we have a choice, that we have to say, yeah, we need more money for fuel, but on the other things, like on our projects and stuff, how we think, oh yeah, it's awesome to have that, but then if we have more of a visual of what it's
Okay.
doing to our fund balance, we might just be like,
Yeah,
we can
a
live
running
with
balance
that.
is good.
Yeah.
We could actually add it, you know how we have under all our financials on items information, we probably could have a fund balance one there, like, you know, we have the tax rate, we have the investment report, the monthly financials, we could probably add just a fund balance, like where we at every month as we go through that. Our goal
Like,
is,
that you would present the item of information,
Right.
not just like on
Yeah,
paper.
correct.
Okay, all right, I'm good with that.
All right. Moving into the tax side of our presentation tonight, we have the tax notice that was in the newspaper. This is actually cut and paste from the August 15th article. We actually have it posted on the website. The one on the website, though, you can actually read. This one is hard to read. Just kidding. But the one on the website is the better one. All right, so the tax rate that we are looking at tonight is our maintenance of effort, 72.17 cents. Our interest and sinking of 43.81, for a total tax rate of $1.1598, almost $1.16. And you can see from the historical rates that is slightly lower than last year.
we're
So-
continuing to go through compression as our property value rises. So you'll see on the M&O side that over history, that $1.47 we had in 2018, we've dropped that tax rate down to $1.15, right $1.16 going to next year. So we still feel what the state did with compression over in the last legislative session. And then also we'll see that we're actually gonna collect less taxes as well because of the $100,000 homestead. So we're receiving more revenue from the state in lieu of that, so. I want to thank Scott. He's been working really hard, and the whole team that goes from our position management team with working with HR, with staffing. So we had a lot of folks who work building this budget, and it's a projection. So we'll continue to monitor it. We're going to be looking at our revenue, being on top of that, looking at our expenditures, finding ways to save, because we realize that we're in a $13 million deficit. We realize also, I want to share with the board that we've approved an incentive. That is a fund balance item. That is not built into this. So this really, if we spend that as well, we're looking around 15 to 16. But we're going to work really hard to try to figure out ways to save this year and then start building a plan on helping ourselves. And then I know we have a legislative session. The great thing is we're growing. So we're going to see more revenue, but also with growth, you see more expenditures because we're having to hire. So that's a good balance for us, but we'll continue to work hard and bring forth effort to kind of get to a place where we're back where we once was. I don't know when we would be a balanced budget, but we're going to try to work that way over the next couple of years to get us back to those times.
What do you think the percentages of school districts in Texas that are adopting a deficit budget?
In Bexar County, I only know of one that did balance their budget.
That did balance their budget?
Only one.
Okay.
I mean, the rest of Bexar County that we've met with, I know Dr. Ball's been at the meetings with superintendents,
Okay.
and everybody said
And
no.
who was the one?
Some percent.
In my leadership task B class, which is from all over the area of Texas, I think there's 26 of us that were left, and everyone is adopting a deficit budget.
Okay.
Any questions for me or Scott?
Questions, anyone? Thank you, Scott.
That is concluded. Thank you.
Do we have any
At
people?
this time, citizens wishing to comment on the 24-25 district budget and proposed tax rate can be heard. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment? Hearing none, meeting is adjourned at 6:05. 6:06, and at this time, we will call our special meeting to order. Welcome, everyone. Okay, it's been a good day today. We'd like to begin with the invocation and pledges.
Everybody can please stand if you're able. As we gather here today, we are mindful of the responsibility entrusted to us. We are here to serve our students, staff, and community and to make decisions that will shape the future of our schools. We ask for wisdom and clarity as we review and allocate the resources needed to fulfill our mission. May we approach our tasks with open minds and compassionate hearts, keeping in mind the diverse needs of our community. Let us remember that the choices we make today will impact the learning and growth of every student in our district. May we be inspired to use our resources wisely and justly and allow our decisions today to foster an environment of learning, growth, and an opportunity for all. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Raj.
Thank you.
Okay. Recognitions.
Tonight, we do have a very special recognition.
Good evening, everyone. Could we have Jasmine Tenorio and Lily Kuntz please come forward? We would like to recognize two Southwest heroes. In early August, Marissa Villarreal was attending a CPR training class when she began choking on some candy. The swift actions of Jasmine Tenorio transformed a life-threatening situation into a chance for survival. Jasmine, who happened to be walking by the classroom at the time, performed the Heimlich maneuver on Marissa, successfully dislodging candy and allowing her to breathe again. Nurse Lily Kuntz was then on hand to help Marissa after the scare. Recently, Marissa says she will be internally grateful for being able to spend another day with her three beautiful children who are in the audience right now. thanks to the quick actions of these two Southwest staff members. Today, we would like to recognize these two employees for their life-saving efforts and dedication to a fellow coworker. And for those of you all know, Marissa's right there in the audience as well with her 4 children.
Who's Marissa?
Yeah.
Okay, smile, and 1, 2, 3. One more.
Thank you all so much. Thank you.
Brandon, has anyone signed up for public comments?
No, sir.
Okay, that was the fun part of this meeting. At this time, Marissa, Jasmine, and Lily, if you'd like to be excused, you're more than welcome to. You're also invited to stay for our meeting, but that was the exciting part, okay?
I will step away, she's not doing too well.
Okay, please,
So, but thank you so much for
take care,
recognizing them.
take care. At this time, we'll consider approval of the 23-24 final budget amendment.
Yes, sir. So the final budget amendment, so I was sharing with the board that you guys approve our budget by function. What can't happen, and it's an audit issue, is if we spend more money out of one function than it was approved. So what we do is make sure we do our last payroll run and we clean up our functions. So this final budget amendment is cleaning that up to make sure where our expenditures hit. We had about 3 codes that we spent a little bit more, and function 11 was higher than what we actually had budgeted, so we moved some money from another function to clean those up so that we have a clean audit. So we're asking the board to approve the final budget amendment as presented. And you should have that on your desk in front of you, budget amendment 14.
Brandon, is there anything that stands out that we should be aware of?
No, none of this. This was
It's
the
just-
same budget that was approved at the last budget amendment. The only thing that would be changed is the functions. We may add a little bit more money.
Thank you.
I will say that function 81, which is our facilities acquisition, that one went down a little bit, so we can cover some of the others functions. Really, it was
Thank
not a
you.
lot of change.
Any other questions?
I move.
We have a motion, and a second. The board approve the final budget amendment as presented. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Budget amendment passes. Thank you. Consider approval of the Starbase Kelly MOA 24-24-25.
Yeah, this is a MOU with the 433 Airlift Wing, sponsored by Starbase Kelly. It's a program that our 5th grade students are part of here at Southwest ISD. We've been doing this program for about 24 years. And so we did put it on the last board meeting. We missed the deadline, so we're asking the board and recommending the board to approve the partnership with the 433 Airlift Wing, sponsored by Starbase Kelly, for our 5th and 6th graders going into next year, emphasizing science, technology, engineering, and math.
Is it all our 5th graders or just some of our schools?
Would be
Certain campuses or something like that.
certain I will get you those. I don't have that.
No, that's okay. But is it, do you know which ones it is?
So we've had Cleveland, and then we've had, Bob Hope, and I believe is Kim Hope.
And-
Every year, so they only have a certain amount of seats
Okay.
that are available.
All right.
But those are the only schools that continue, keeping the program?
It's, for the most part, they're the ones that let us know between the campuses that they're gonna be allowing to return.
I move.
We have a motion, and a second. The board approved to continue the partnership between the 433rd Airlift Wing, sponsor of the Starbase Kelly program, and Southwest ISD in an effort to build upon the educational foundation of Southwest ISD 5th and 6th grade students with an emphasis on science, technology, engineering, and math. Questions, anyone? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you. Consider approval of 24-25 annual budget. We've had that presented to us, board members.
A second.
We have a motion and second that we approve the 2024-2025 district budget as presented. Questions, anyone? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you. Consider approval of designation of officers resolution.
Yes, sir, we're asking the board to, and recommending to the board to approve myself as the deputy superintendent and the chief financial officer to be the designated officers to do the truth and taxation documentation as required by tax law, and so, we're asking the board to approve that.
We have a motion
A second.
and we have 2 seconds. That the board approve a resolution to appoint the deputy superintendent and chief financial officer, also known as CFO, as designated officers responsible for calculating and reporting the no new revenue tax rate and the voter approval tax rate as determined by state law. Questions, anyone? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you. Consideration and possible approval of a resolution authorizing the defiance of defeasance
Yes, sir.
of certain portions of the district's currently outstanding obligations and other matters related thereto. Help me here.
I think we skipped that one.
We skipped the tax rate.
Yeah, the no new tax rate.
So there's-
On page 14.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Okay.
So we don't have to,
I
No.
move
No, wait, wait.
the deficient,
Number nine, sir.
Where you skipped.
oh,
number
okay, okay,
Yeah.
I hear you, I hear you.
we can go back to
Okay,
that.
so we're gonna go back to 9. Consider approval of a no new tax rate and voter approved tax rate, also as presented tonight.
Yeah, so the no new tax rate is $1.1337. That's basically based on last year's numbers, and that's a rate that we have to calculate just for tax purposes. The voter approval tax rate is $1.1598. Anything above that would require us to do basically a TRE, a voter tax ratification election. So those two, we're asking the board to approve and accept the no new revenue tax rate and the voter approval tax rate.
I move.
I second. Okay.
We have motion and second, approve to accept the no new revenue tax rate and voter approval tax rate for the tax year of 2024 for the Southwest ISD as recommended at 1.1337 for the no new and 1.1598 for the voter approval. Questions, anyone? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, now for that long statement I made on for item 10. Who's gonna cover this thing? Well,
Brandon is.
So, as I mentioned in the public hearing, we're actually collecting less debt payments from our INS tax collections, but the state put in a hold harmless. So we're gonna collect a little bit less taxes, but we're gonna receive an extra $3 million in state aid. So we're gonna actually have more INS funding that we're receiving on our revenue side than our actual debt payment. That being said, that triggers 2 things. One, you lower your tax rate or you defease bonds. And so we're choosing to defease some bonds. We'd like to defease bond series 2016. This will help us pay off some debt, and it will also allow us later on for capacity when we borrow the additional $50 million that we have left in our first bond package. And anytime we can pay off debt, that can help us in the future if we continue to grow, if we have to go back out for a future bond. So tonight, I do have Andrew and Jack from Samco. Mr. Aguilera is here from Escamilla and Ponic, our bond counsel, and so kind of covered it. We have questions. I mean, I don't know if you have any more to add to that, Andrew?
I was going to add that I don't think I could say it any better than Brandon did. This is paying off debt early, creating capacity for the remaining $50 million of voted and authorized bonding set to do maybe next year. So I'm happy to answer any and all questions that you may have. This is something that we have done in years past to stabilize and maintain the tax rate and to continue on with our proposed capital improvements that you guys are working through.
Questions, anyone?
This is the one where you'll go out like, that's next month sometime and sell off the.
Well, what, no, there's no
No,
sell
sir.
This
here.
is the
No,
different
no,
one.
we just pay.
Yeah, we're just gonna pay, we're gonna make an extra debt payment,
Yeah.
but we won't know till we collect our
Oh, I'm
taxes.
thinking of the other thing y'all did last.
Yeah, you're talking about refunding.
Yes.
No, this is just, we're gonna receive extra funds, more than our debt payment this year, and we're gonna pay some additional debt off early. It's like making an extra mortgage payment. That's what we're gonna do.
Similar to a bond refunding, we'll save roughly $115,000 in interest payments by paying off this small portion of bonds early.
I move.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. The board approve the resolution as presented in reference to paid off 2.5 million, is that correct?
That'll be once we get our collections, that's what we're thinking, but we'll readjust that and we'll bring it back to the board, because we'll come back to the board for the final,
Okay.
correct?
We don't come back to the
Okay,
board
we
for
don't
the
come back to
final,
the
but
board.
we're establishing with this resolution a minimum amount of bonds to call. So
Okay.
if collections come in higher, we can call more bonds. That'll be something that we work with Brandon and Scott through.
Okay.
But again, to maintain the tax rate, where you all are adopting it this evening.
And either way, we save money.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what we want.
Any other questions? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you all. Look forward to seeing you
Thank you all
at
for being
Casa
here.
Tasby next month.
Okay, item 11, consider approval of a resolution setting a tax rate for the 24-25 tax year.
Yes, we're asking the board to approve as presented tonight, a tax rate of $1.1598 for the total tax rate for the next fiscal year.
I move.
I second.
We have a motion and a second that we approve the tax rate of 24-25 for the Southwest Independent School District, M&O tax rate of .7217, INS tax rate of .4381, for a total tax rate of $1.1598. Questions, anyone? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Consider approval of fentanyl awareness and human trafficking curriculums.
Yes, we have one of our SHAC members, one of our SHAC member is here, and then we also have Sandy and Ms. Carrero. And last month, they presented, information, so I know they have a recommendation that they would like to make to us.
Thank you. Okay, so last week we presented 2 recommendations to the board in our annual report. The first was for fentanyl awareness, and that was to include some existing catch curriculum slides into the program, and then a documentary video, which we shared as well. Both of those to be included in or presented in advisory, rolled out to grades 6 through 12 with the opt-out option for the parents, including a flyer that would be sent out and contact information for a district contact should they have any questions. So no changes to what we presented last week on that. And then human trafficking, no changes as well. It is the Lures and Lies presentation to be delivered live to grades 6 through 12 in a student assembly with the opt-in, since that does fall under the sex education or the sexual human, what's it called? What do we call it? The words are escaping me. Thank you. The human sexuality curriculum. Thank you. Trying to make sure we're using the right terminology. Again, with the flyer that would go out to parents for information from a district contact. So no changes on that as well. So those are the 2 things that we are proposing for, in case you didn't see, because I don't think I mentioned it last week, for the fentanyl awareness curriculum, there's no charge for those things. We already pay for the catch curriculum, and the video, the documentary is free. On the human trafficking, the Lures and Lies, they do offer it for free. They ask for a donation, so that's something to consider, but nothing to add. Linda?
That's it. Other than that, the programs that we did pick are stuff that. Other than that, the programs that we did recommend are programs that TEA has on the list of what is recommended through that site.
Any questions?
Questions,
Chris?
anyone? I'm just curious, who who's asking for the donation? The people that supply the program?
That would be for the
Ransom
human
Life.
trafficking, that's Ransom Life. They're the
Okay.
ones who bring a live presenter in to present to the students their presentation.
And who makes the decision of whether or not we send a donation, and are we?
That's what we
We
did.
probably need to discuss that, we don't really feel
Okay.
like, we would probably ask them to invoice us for their hours of work and do it that way.
Okay.
We're not allowed to donate.
Okay.
We will pay for services.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
board members, any other questions?
I move.
We have a motion, a second, the board approve the SHAC recommendations regarding health, education, curriculum, and instruction related to fentanyl awareness and human trafficking as presented. Questions, anyone? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Thank you, ladies. Consider approval, no. Discussion and possible action on handling state agency complaints against board members. Who's covering this?
After closed session.
Okay. So then we can go into closed session now. Do you have one more thing you want to present?
Not at this time,
Okay.
after closed session.
Okay. Therefore, as permitted by sections 551.001 through 551.146 of the Texas Government Code and pursuant to the Texas Government Code, section 551.071, this board will now go into closed session at 6:26. We come back into open session at 7:10. At this time, I'll open up for motions on our closed session.
I move, hang on. I move that this board make a finding that there is a legitimate public purpose to authorize Walsh Gallegos to aid in responding to ethics complaints filed against a board member, as such aid supports the district with continuing normal board and district operations and helps the district be in compliance with the laws of the state. I further move that this board make a finding that sufficient controls are in place to ensure the district's public purpose is served.
Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. Board members, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Motion passes unanimously. Other business?
Yes, I'd like to just call attention that we have the save the date for Juan Alvarado Elementary. It's gonna be on October the 4th, Friday at 2 o'clock. We will soon shortly have the save the dates for Fraser Field dedication. We'll have those next week. Like to remind everybody that we have our first football game, Southwest Legacy versus Jefferson at Legacy Stadium. So want to welcome everybody there, and volleyball tournament starting on Thursday. Also want to remind everybody that it is Labor Day weekend, so our offices and schools will be closed on Monday. And for the staff, want to wish them a wonderful Labor Day and a nice holiday.
Great.
Oh,
Board-
one more thing, so sorry. I would like to wish Mr. Sullivan a very happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Joyce. Board members, do you have anything?
No, sir.
Hearing none, this meeting is now closed at 7:12.